Welcome to another episode of our Success Edge series. This show is all about combining innovation with making a positive impact and finding inspiration for change. Remember, success isn't just about achieving your goals, it's also about the difference you make along the way. I'm excited to have Alison with us. She's the mastermind behind Tilley Workforce Solutions. With 2 decades of experience, she's been instrumental in transforming business visions into fresh workforce solutions. If you're facing challenges with hiring new talent and need effective strategies, you're in the right place today. Alison is dedicated to creating a legacy of hiring success driven by compelling stories, well-defined strategies, and a passion for making a difference in the professional world. I'm eager to hear your insights, Alison, on what companies need to focus on to create successful hiring plans and overcome the major hurdles businesses are facing today to find the right people. So welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm so glad to have you here. We wanted to definitely hear from you. As we all know, the workforce has changed and the job availability from 3 years ago to now, and all that interesting stuff to know to help businesses in their hiring process find the right people and keep them, because that's the other part about it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, well, let's just start off first of all, and just tell us why you're passionate about your work. Why'd you start Tilley?
Yeah. So, first, I started it after doing this 20 years for companies and corporations. And after just a lot of encouragement from people in the field and colleagues that were like, I wish we could use you, but we can't because you're over there doing it for somebody else. I just decided to take all of my experience and all of the proven methods that I have discovered and developed and initiated to help more companies. So now we're able to help companies nationwide, and we even just helped one in Canada. So that's why. And, I'm really passionate about it because I love the story behind everybody. I like knowing what their passion is and what makes them tick, and really helping to ignite that and make sure that they are aligned with the right company that will utilize their skills. And then on the flip side of that, every company has a purpose, right? And for the most part, every company really wants to do a good job and represent their brand and move the business forward. And so in order to do that, they need the right people in place. So I just love helping them discover their true needs and what the right person can do. And then, of course, identifying and placing that right person in that company to just add to the puzzle piece. So, yeah.
Yeah. What about the stories is really compelling for you? How does that help you?
Yeah. Everybody comes to their role from a different place, and the impact they want to make and the purpose-driven work that they want to have. It's just unique to everybody. And I'm just fascinated by all of it. And it's really exciting to be able to match a company with somebody's purpose and talent. That's just really great.
Yeah. Do you find that really complements them being there long term? How do you get them to stay?
Yeah,
sure. Knowing that much about them is helpful.
Well, and I think that's something that, I've learned through the years, and something that we really hone in on is making sure that people aren't just a match on the description, the checklist, but that it's a culture match, right? And a why match, and all those motivating factors. Not everybody's motivated in the same way. So it's really important to make sure that, what the company needs are matches the person. And of course, if you make that match, then they're going to be there longer, because they'll feel their impact, and the company will feel their impact, and they'll be recognized for it.
What are some of the recruitment obstacles companies are facing today? What are you seeing out there?
Yeah. So, 2023 changed the game. I've been doing this, like I said, for over 20 years, and I've seen a slow progression of change, but last year, as many of my colleagues will say, it just rocked the boat. So, I'm seeing that companies aren't evolving with the current state of workplace and the workforce and the technology behind it. You know, they're still in this post-COVID era. Not everybody's having a clear understanding of the roles that they need today, and what that truly means, like what's not being met in the company to move it forward. And not only that, you know, they're looking to hire for immediate need, but not necessarily future need. As we've learned, you know, technology is evolving. Industries are changing, I mean, instantly. And so they really have to recruit for the future, not just like right now we have a need, let's put a Band-Aid on it. Also, just like two other things, they're really resorting to past hiring methods to try and fit and accomplish future recruitment goals. So they're like, well, it worked 10 years ago, 5 years ago, last year, let's just do it. And that's not working anymore. And then lastly, not everybody is looking at data as important in recruitment as they would, for instance, their marketing or sales or production teams. You know, it seems to be important in other departments, but it's really important to look at your data and the story it's telling in recruitment. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like the workforce today too, there is more of each individual wants to be doing something that's meaningful or impactful. It's not just, I'm going to get a job and I'm going to work here for 10, 20, 30 years. Like that's not the workforce that's coming up. They're moving if it's not a good fit for them and their values.
And their skills.
And their skills.
And their skills. You know, a lot of the shift is more towards that skill-based hire, and the culture fit, and not necessarily the length or longevity of the experience that they've had. They're okay. Some places are okay with lesser roles, shorter roles that grew their skills.
Yeah. And then for like hiring leaders, hiring managers, what is it that they can do to foster an environment or a culture that's going to keep these individuals that, you know, are looking for a new opportunity?
Yeah. You know, I really think it's important that everyone is aligned with the roles and the needs, and really just providing that internal, like mentorships, the development. You know, it starts from the candidate experience. You know, you have a really good idea out the gate if what that's going to look like, you know? And so if you're really presenting yourself in a clear, concise manner throughout the process, you're communicating with them, and then they're onboarded really well, you know, that you can't necessarily throw people into the work without a little bit of, this is what to expect. And then having those clear definitions of that role, and then just nurturing the skills and providing a path for them. I think that's really important.
And checking in, seeing like just, I don't know, are performance reviews still a thing?
Absolutely. Well, what I think are important are more of those like pulse surveys now and the check-ins. You know, it's funny, kind of reminds me of like a parent teacher conference, right? They happen like once a semester.
Yeah.
And I think, well, if I had to wait till then, like, what impact is that going to have? So I think just treating people like humans and having conversations and not being so afraid of like, you know, somebody getting in trouble or somebody, you know, there's obviously rules and regulations around the conversations that we can have, but really understanding, you know, if somebody's having a problem, understand the why, right? Like maybe they're coming in 5 minutes late because the bus is 5 minutes late, like, or maybe they can't accomplish something in their job because they don't have the technology to do it, and just are kind of afraid to ask, you know? So I think just being kind of human through this employment, employee relationship is really important.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What would you say is, how can a leader focus on their own path to create career success?
Yeah. I love using the word PATH as an acronym for purpose, action, talents, and hiring excellence. So I think if they're looking to hire in their department, they really need to look at their roles and say, okay, what is the purpose of that role? What gaps are missing without that role? What does that role really need to accomplish? What will it look like in a year that it's moved the business forward? What's the purpose of that role and how it fits within the purpose of our company? And then looking at those actions, and people can do this within their own roles, or whether it's roles in life or work, but what actions do I need to take to fulfill that purpose? What actions does someone need to fulfill in the role to fulfill the purpose? And then the talents, right? Like, what unique talents does somebody bring in that role that might be different than other people in other roles, to produce the action and the results? And then finally, what is that hiring success? What is the hiring excellence within that company? How do they want to stand out? What do they want their brand to look like? Their employee value proposition, their process. What do they want that experience to really look like, to best represent their brand and their culture and their people, so that they're really attracting those that fit best with their company? So yeah, that PATH, I love that acronym. I created that acronym of purpose, action, talents, and hiring excellence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really defines exactly what to focus on. It's a path in itself.
Yeah.
Right?
It definitely helps focus. I mean, you just nailed it. Like, focus, because we get so distracted, right? Of like, well, maybe I should be doing this. Maybe I should be doing that. And by doing that, it really just fogs the whole thing. It fogs the end line a little bit. Yeah. And so I think if you really can just focus on those 4 things every day, you're going to have synergy within the team a lot faster. And you're also going to have a lot of clarity towards the goal and be able to accomplish it faster and better. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So do you have anything coming up exciting that you're going to be doing soon, or any events?
Yeah, I actually have 2. I'm speaking at a gala on Friday, so that's exciting.
Awesome.
And then we have in Kansas City the Path Forward in November 9th. And so I'm just so excited about that. It's something that I developed just as a way for professionals and women to come together and just be empowered by one another, connect with one another, have very authentic conversations, just honest, real, funny conversations around the obstacles that we face inside both of our career paths, our growth, and the workplace. And then just learn from leaders regarding, how they've accomplished their success. And so we call it the Path Forward. And like I said, the next one's November 9th in Kansas City.
Wonderful. Yeah. Great. We'll make sure to share that here too.
Yeah, thanks.
With everybody. Yeah,
Thanks for
definitely.
asking.
And what would be like the best way to get in touch with you with questions about recruitment, workforce planning strategies, placements?
Yeah. So I would just say, go to our website, tilleyworkforcesolutions.com. There's contact buttons on there. It has resources and just all sorts of wonderful information.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love your website.
I love that you did our website.
It's awesome.
Funny, you should say that.
Right? Funny. Oh, well, good. Well, thank you. No, this is all really great. I know I'm excited about your events coming up. I know it's in St. Louis and Kansas City. Both. Did the St. Louis one already happen?
It did. It was awesome. It was last week.
Yes.
It was so wonderful.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah. I have video and some photos coming soon. So
Good. I can't
That's
wait to see
great. I
them.
mean, I love hearing feedback. I mean, we started these as an just genuine. I have found in 20 years that while some amazing people did have coaches and mentors right off the bat, and they knew how to climb to their goals, but a majority of people fell into roles, or they weren't raised in a way where they were exposed to a lot of corporate women, or they didn't know. So people are kind of fumbling around it, and they don't always know the nuances of a workplace and cultures and how to navigate all of that and how to advocate for themselves. So that's why, I just want to authentically offer this to everyone, since I do a lot of just sort of mentoring and career coaching on the side anyways.
Yeah.
I thought what a great way to just open it up to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you have some wonderful speakers and
Oh my
presenters.
gosh. They're amazing. Yeah.
What a great
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Alison, for sharing your insights and experiences with us today.
Sure.
Your expertise in creating impactful workforce solutions is truly inspiring. To our audience, I hope you've gained some valuable strategies to enhance your hiring process and overcome recruitment challenges. And if there's anything else, Alison, you wanted to add here before we go.
Yeah. I think I just wanted to add really quick that, the things that employers can really focus on right now are just really looking at their data. So making sure that data is telling the story of not only where their candidates are coming from, but where their quality candidates are coming from, who's being hired. We have 5 generations in the workplace right now, and they're not all going to be found in the same way. They're not going to be communicated to in the same way. So it's really important that people look at their data from the lens of curiosity and not just accountability. What are the numbers that the recruiters are doing? And just a couple other quick things, like it's, passive recruitment is still really strong. Application numbers are up, unemployment's down. So that's just telling us the story that it is active employees that are looking. Back to the make sure you have a good culture, but also your passive ones, that's where you're going to find a lot of people are those passive ones. And then just a few other things is that it's really important that people understand that role, the roles that they are trying to fill. Just because there's a vacancy doesn't mean that that's the role that you should be filling. So make sure that you truly understand the gaps and what that needs to accomplish and what are the success factors and the skills in that role. The characteristics that fit your culture, all of those things. And when they really do that, that impact within the company, especially if you're getting your team involved, that's really going to empower those leaders to really take a deep dive. And it's going to create that team synergy and that path for talent, and just increase that productivity. And then, the last 2 things I would just say are just make sure that you're adapting to technology. Data scraping and email automation is huge right now, text automation, and partnering with your marketing team on that branding and telling your employee story. That's really important. We're seeing that upwards of 70% of candidates are still doing research on companies to see if they would fit. And to see if that's like a second home before they're applying, before any of that. And then, like I said before, the last thing would just be really recruit for the future. It's really important to craft questions around how people have learned new skills, because it's okay that they might be able to fill the role today, but they have to be able to evolve with it. And it's really important that companies find the talent that can evolve their own skills, right? Mm-hmm. So I think those are just some final thoughts on just sort of the current state of recruitment and how employers can really set themselves up for success, not only today, but, moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's all really good information. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, of
And
course.
one thing that I thought about too is, so do you recruit worldwide and work with workforce strategies? I mean, in the US here?
Yeah. So we right now, while I personally have a global experience, our company focuses on the US,
Yeah.
and we happen to have some Canadian clients as well, but they place US employers. So yeah, so we're nationwide.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Good to know. Yeah,
Thanks for
again,
asking.
it's got me thinking too, just in terms of my own team and where are our gaps and thinking about the future. So
Mhm.
that was really helpful. So thanks for putting that into context.
Yeah, yeah. And if anybody ever needs it, like I have a whole, I just share it at this point, role design that people can kind of work through to help, think through that a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like an awesome tool.
It is a good tool.
Somebody else help me think of the questions and the things I need to think of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Of course.
amazing. Well, Allison, thanks
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
being here. Thank you, audience, for joining us. And until next time, we will see you again online and wherever else we might see you.
It's great. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Yes, thank you.